so pleased to be here. So pleased to be here with you this afternoon. I'm a national board certified health and wellness coach and also a certified fibromyalgia coach. I have just a few slides to share with you this afternoon. So let's see if we can get this to work. And there, can you see that slide?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is just a title of our talk, Your Journey with Fibromyalgia, Finding the Energy to Heal with Dr. Robin Pfaff, and also has the title of my book there. So I sent the slides to CJ, so she'll be able to share them with you later. Okay. So what we're going to do today is a set of several exercises that I've found really helpful for fibro folks, and I really welcome your participation. Just remember, since we are recording, that you might want to be careful about how much you share. Just, share at your comfort level. And also, we're going to be talking about our symptoms and ways to address them. And so we're going to be practicing skills today. So don't focus in on your very worst symptom. Focus on something that's more moderate so that you don't overwhelm yourself today. And then we'll go from there. So the first part of what we're going to be doing today is talking about where are you in your journey with fibromyalgia. And so I'll share another slide with you real quickly. Here we go. This is an exercise I like to use for myself with the women I work with. Even if you've done something similar before, we're always in a different place in our lives as time moves along. And so we're going to be talking about where have you been in your fibro journey? Where are you now? And where are you going? And I'm going to be sharing part of my journey with you as well as I'm talking with you about where you are. So it can be really helpful if you, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier, have a piece of paper handy. If you don't have one right now, maybe you can get one and fold it into thirds. So take a moment to find a piece of paper, fold it into thirds, and we will start on our exercise.
Hi.
So I'll stop sharing and go back to the full screen. And as you're getting your paper ready, I'll just talk to you a little bit about where I've been in my journey with fibromyalgia. I was diagnosed nearly 30 years ago,
Wow.
and I'd like to read to you a portion of my book. And here's the cover of my book again, as CJ mentioned. It's called Living Your Best Life with Fibromyalgia. I'm going to read to you just a few paragraphs that I wrote about my diagnosis. So it was an ordinary spring day, and I was anxious as I waited on the exam table for my physician assistant, a lovely, kind, intelligent woman, to bring me the results from the extensive lab work she had ordered for me. The past few months were a blur. It was 1998, and I was 42 years old. I had married my husband, Ron, the love of my life, the previous year. It was a second marriage for both of us, and we were heavily engaged in blending our family of 4 kids who were ages 19, 16, 15, and 11 when we got married. In addition to the chronic pain that was part of my everyday life, I was having night sweats and severe insomnia. I had unintentionally lost a lot of weight, and I felt like my body was a bag of fragile bones. Due to lack of sleep, I was fatigued and foggy every day. I was stretched thin managing my psychotherapy practice, teaching responsibilities, and the new demands of a blended family. I was hoping against hope that my healthcare provider, whom I adored, would have answers. But the answers she had were not what I wanted to hear. Robin, she said, your lab results are normal. I think what you have is fibromyalgia. And my response was no, 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 no. I knew what fibromyalgia was and what the diagnosis meant. I had worked with a psychotherapy client with fibromyalgia, but more importantly, my mother had been diagnosed with fibromyalgia.
Mm.
I was very aware that there were virtually no effective treatment options. Reading that out loud takes me back to that sense of despair that I felt. Yes, I had a diagnosis, but what was I going to do about it?
Mhm.
So I basically went into the closet with my fibromyalgia diagnosis. I the support groups that I was sort of aware of didn't seem like a positive setting for me, not like this one where you guys are so supportive and looking for solutions. So I basically told my husband, a couple close friends, and I didn't talk about it for the next 25 years, mostly
Mm.
until I learned of Tammy Stackelhouse's International Fibromyalgia Coaching Institute and her training program to train individuals to become fibromyalgia coaches. So that was the beginning of my story with fibromyalgia. I was in the closet, um, lots of ups and downs, kind of a roller coaster. So, what I want you to do on your paper is you can do it horizontally or vertically, however you like, but take the first third of your paper and write, where have I been? And on my paper, I wrote hiding. I was hiding, I was in the closet and just trying to cope. And then you can also draw a little picture. And you don't have to be an artist. I just draw little stick figures. And I drew a picture of a little stick figure in a doorway to represent that I was hiding in a closet for the first 25 years or so of my diagnosis.
Right.
I see that some of you are finishing. I'll give you others just another moment to think about how you want to describe where you've been. Give it a little title. Mine was hiding or in the closet, and then draw a little picture that represents where you've been. And then we'll take a moment or two to share. Whoever would like to just raise your hand or unmute and let me know, where have you been with your fibro diagnosis? Cheryl.
I wrote complaining. That's my basically what I've been doing for many, many years is just every day, why did I get this? Blah, blah, blah. That's what it, and it's a sad face and it says blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's very vulnerable and authentic because a lot of us have been there, that's for sure. Does anyone else want to share? Where have you been in your journey?
I'll
Oh,
share. Oh, go ahead, Mary Lou.
Oh, really what you said really hit home with me. And I'd say the same thing, hiding in a closet and suffering.
Mhm.
In a picture, no, I'm not good at that. So, but that's what I would say about myself.
Okay, makes sense to me. I can so relate. Thanks, Mary Lou. Who else? Where have you
I,
been in your journey?
I'll say where I was spinning my wheels trying to find out what was wrong because no doctor could tell me anything. So I would spend hours in a bookstore or library pouring through literature to try to match my symptoms to something. And the other part is that I felt sick and frustrated with the lack of understanding of medical uh, personnel. And I drew the same face that Cheryl drew, my little unhappy face.
Little sad face. Makes sense.
Yes, yes.
Thanks, Dorothy. Who else wants to share? Cindy?
I think in Sharon's group, I said like, well, it's probably the same thing. Back then I wrote down it was like a roller coaster. So that's where I was pretty much years of confusion, just no answers that I was getting, just going from one doctor to another, and just so much stress and anxiety and depression. And I had some sad faces with a question mark over the confused face. So that's where I was back then, 13 years ago or so.
Yeah, I can so relate. Anyone else?
Yeah. I
Marianne.
I came
To go first. Either way, I just had a picture of a house. Like we're paying bills for a house, and I was having some medical issues, and I was happy for everybody else who could have children, but I was coding all these charts of all these successful people having families, and we couldn't have a family. All the joints were aching. The doctors didn't explain anything other than you might be a little bit heavy, and they did every labs they valued. Then later on, we found out we're low thyroid and some other issues. But to pay a house off. We're like working hard that I was drained, fatigued, never getting the energy. And then finding out that it was like, what is it? Mono that you can get from being run down, taking care of parents that you can be run down. There's a lot of issues that kind of happen. And so we just were unsuccessful when one thing, and all the nurses were saying that if we were going to doctors that looks like you got fibro. So, and they said once mono that you can always feel like your body's run down. So that's what my story is. And there's a house poor. We got dogs instead of having children, and we made the best of it. You make lemonade out of lemons. So that's what we got.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing, JC.
Yep.
And
Okay.
Kathy?
Yeah, I've had like a roller coaster too, in a way. I mean, I was diagnosed at around age 34, and I was a single mom at the time. And it just, I had been in car accidents that damaged parts of my spine, and had gone through divorce. I mean, there was just so many things that I have had to juggle over the years since then. I mean, it's just, I feel like I've been fighting against something that I really couldn't pin down, other than the fact that I would, get very fatigued, a lot of brain fog, even though I was working, and it just was, I felt like I was pushing and fighting, and trying to be normal, trying to be active, trying to do what I could do. I remarried also at in my second marriage at 41, 42, something like that, and that was wonderful, and it was a whole different way of life. I had a daughter already, and I gained a stepson, and a lot of great memories from that time, but everything was such a struggle. I mean, even the good stuff was such a struggle. And I didn't worry about where it came from. I just sort of dealt with, okay, this is what it is, and this is what I'm experiencing.
Thanks so
So,
much for sharing, Kathy. Marianne, did you want to share?
Yes. I put surviving and trying to live with it. Like Kathy said, there's so much on your plate but you have to just keep going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had
Yeah.
3 daughters that were very active and just had to keep going. And then when I had to rest, I did rest. But
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Did we hear from everyone or did we miss someone? Susan, did we hear from you?
No, I don't have fibromyalgia, so I'm just here
Well,
as a friend for Cindy.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. That's great. All right. Well, let's look at the second part, where I'm at right now. A same assignment. Write down some words, a phrase. For me, I'm out of my closet as a fibromyalgia coach after not talking about fibromyalgia forever. Now I talk about it all the time, which is kind of ironic. Um, I took the coach training with Tammy Stackelhouse in 2018 and 2019. And as I said, this is my 8th year of being a fibromyalgia coach, and I absolutely love it. Um, I specialized in working with trauma when I was a psychotherapist, and that served me very well with the fibromyalgia community because so many of us have a history of trauma that and we know that trauma can be a significant trigger for the development of fibromyalgia. And this trauma can include things like childhood abuse, for sure, which is something I unfortunately experienced, like so many people do. But it can also include things like sexual assault as a teenager or as an adult. It can include traumatic birth experiences, giving birth experiences, or traumatic surgery. It can include car accidents, which I also had. I also had some bicycle accidents as a kid. And it can include workplace stress and trauma. Many different types of trauma can influence the development of fibromyalgia in our bodies. So my work as a psychotherapist has given me that skill set that supports my work as a coach. I'm not doing therapy as a fibromyalgia coach, but a lot of times people don't connect trauma to the development of their fibromyalgia. I didn't at first. I didn't realize until I became a coach that the connection was so clear. And it was kind of like the last puzzle piece falling into place for me to understand that my fibromyalgia had roots in the way that I was raised and the things that I experienced in my growing up years in my early 20s. So um, if I was hiding in my first um, season of being a person with fibromyalgia, in my current season of life, I'm sharing. So the picture that I drew is of a little person standing like this and sharing. So I think we'll do our second and third parts together just to be efficient with our time. So on the third part of your piece of paper, we're going to do where I'm going. So my story is that when I did the training with Tammy Steckelhouse, I learned some ways to really improve my sleep, which had a profound impact on all of my symptoms. And I got a lot better for a long time. And then life happened. While I was writing my book, I developed really severe low back pain. I think it was because I was sitting so much in front of the computer, and I was also feeling a lot of stress in putting the book together. And it took a lot longer to write the book than I expected it to. I thought I would be done in about a year and a half, and it ended up taking 2.5 years. And the book was actually published last May to celebrate Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. It was published May 14th. So it's we're coming up on the first anniversary of the book. So I'd love for you to check it out on Amazon. This is my little commercial for the book. It comes in 3 versions. You can get it paperback or you could get it on Kindle. But I also have an audio version that's narrated by my daughter, Michelle Dollenberg, who is a professional actor. And I wanted her to do the audio narration because when I was younger, our voices sounded very, very similar. I've gotten a little hoarse as I've grown older, but Michelle's voice is still really lovely to listen to. And knowing the community that she was speaking to when she was narrating my book, she said that she visualized talking to someone who wasn't even well enough to read a book, but could maybe only listen, maybe lying on her bed with something over her eyes. And she imagined sending healing energy to all the people that would be listening to the book. And that meant so much to me. And I think it really comes through in her presentation and narrating the book. There's a clip on Amazon where you can listen to a short clip of her narration. And I often post clips on my Facebook page, and you're welcome to follow me. If you want to friend me, I accept new friends. And you can find me at Robin Taylor Pfaff. And then I have a second Facebook page, which is a business page, and that's Flourishing with Fibromyalgia Wellness Coaching with Dr. Robin Pfaff. So you're welcome to follow me there. And then you can also find me on my website, which is Dr. Robin Pfaff. And you can download for free my best self-assessment, which I'm going to be talking to you about a little more. We're going to be doing a couple of exercises from that little mini workbook, and you're welcome to access that as well. So now, this third part of our journey with fibromyalgia. Where are you going? So I have been on a roller coaster with this lower back pain. This is one of the reasons that we actually moved from Denver to southern New Mexico. My doctor sat me down after telling me several times, and he got really serious and he said, Robin, you need to be in a warmer climate. And I knew from living in Phoenix and living in southern New Mexico that I do feel a lot better in a warmer climate. And our son and his wife live in Los Angeles. So last April, we moved out here to Palm Desert, California, which is adjacent to Palm Springs. So we're about 2.5 hours away from my son and his wife. And I have felt a lot better in the warmer climate. And the good news is I found a new rheumatologist who's really helpful, and I found a new naturopathic doctor. And they've both helped me with treatments that have gotten my lower back pain under control. Finally, after 3 years of trying everything and not finding anything that worked, I finally found some treatments that are helping. So where I'm going in my golden years, because I'll be turning 69 in July, is I'm going to be thriving. And the picture I drew was, jazz hands, thriving in my golden years, continuing my work with fibromyalgia coaching clients, but having a big focus on spending time with my family and friends, and having a priority for taking care of my physical body, moving my body, strengthening my core. I'm going to be visiting with a new physical therapist tomorrow. So that's my story about where I'm going. So now let's double back and share where you are right now and where you're going. Who would like to start?
I don't care. I can start again.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Where I am right now is surviving, trying to find things to help, like exercise, water. I found that water aerobics and doing water exercise helps. I know massage helps, but I never get them. And the next part was, where am I going? I want to keep learning more and more about it. I'm also an RN, and I've done health coaching before. So I'm really open to teaching people about what I'm learning and also
Great.
traveling. As a retired couple, we enjoy going all across the country, and I find that, like you said, warm climates help. Um, this cold weather, getting away and just being warm is really helps. And learning, it kind of like takes your mind off of it. We go to different places and learn about their culture, and I love learning. So that's this next phase. So
I love that. Thanks so much, Cheryl. Who's next? Marianne?
Okay, for me, I'm recovering from the sixth hip operation that I've had in my life, and I'm using the tools that I have, whether it be infrared lighting, the pool, and I totally agree that the warmer weather is good. When I lived in New Jersey, I could barely walk, and I always say that even though it's very humid in Florida, it's like a giant hot pack that's just wrapped around me. So I've been doing good as far as fibromyalgia, but it's just the bones that are not so great. And where I'm going, well, once I get strong enough, like Cheryl, we want to travel, and keep my body strong.
I love that. Thanks so much, Marianne. Who else would like to share? Dorothy.
Okay, where I am right now, I'm learning to manage my symptoms better. Before and when I was first diagnosed, I used to be so anxious all the time because I didn't know what was wrong. And then sometimes I thought, is this fatal? Because sometimes I would be so sick. I was literally afraid to close my eyes at night because I didn't know if I would open them the next morning. That's how sick I was at times. So I've learned to manage my symptoms better and not freak out if I have a new symptom or if I have a flare up. And I'm starting to take more time to rest without feeling guilty and to say no.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much, Dorothy. Who else would like to share? Cindy?
Before I share, I just wanted to let everybody know that we have 6 minutes left of the before this session wraps up. I'm sorry, that's the way it goes
It's
sometimes.
okay. We can finish sharing when we
Oh.
come back if we still need more time.
Oh, okay. So where I am right now, I'm growing and learning. So I am continuing to learn more about myself, my body and fibro, and how to manage it better. And learning with my Fibro group, doing research, finding answers, and sharing with other members of the group. If I find something that I find interesting, I share that along with everybody else. I'm sure everybody else knows, right, ladies?
Yep, we
And
appreciate it.
even through emails or Facebook Messenger chat, like if I see something that ties to Fibro or if everybody else wants to know about it, I share. So, and then where am I going? Still learning and growing. And then right now I'm just like at a stability, like I'm at a peace point. Like I'm not like on a roller coaster like I was. So like I'm just like it's just like a straight line. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just like it's just like it's not like the ups and downs like it used to be like over the years.
So nice to have some stability, isn't it?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. And who else still wants to share? JC or Kathy?
Yeah, I'm trying to lose more weight. I'm trying to work out more, and I'm learning. And I talk about my fibro, and when I'm out in public, it's like it's amazing. There are other people there too. We share our stories, and I try to bring it into the group. I'm going to church, and I'm trying to get more people, a friend community on the outside, because I think us women need more friends. Whereas everybody kind of passes away in the family, and you don't have as much family. You've got to get a new group of friends. And I'm on an exercise bike, and I learned today you can get a discount with DTE and Consumers Energy when you're 65 and up. Nobody knew about that. So
That's great. That's
now
great.
yeah.
And Kathy, did you want to share?
Yeah. Okay. Where I am now, I came up with 4 main words: coping, adjusting, accepting, and relaxing. I mean, learning all that and dealing with additional health issues that are, kind of a juggling, and some of the other health issues create pain that's not from fibromyalgia. It's from osteoarthritis and other things going on. So kind of, and I'm trying not to go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, something else, when you're young.
It's
and
hard not to,
everything.
though, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm just sort of trying to, take everything in stride, I guess. I can't really afford a lot of special therapies if it's not covered by insurance, so I'm focusing on self-care. As for where am I going, again, I'm almost the same age as you, Robin, and I'll actually be 70 this year. And
Happy birthday.
well, far. I'm one of the younger ones, But anyway, I just see myself, having less stress and being able to relax when I want to and need to, being in a comfortable environment, and also my activity and movement has increased tremendously compared to what happens to me in the winter. So, I'm formulating a plan and looking forward to all that.
That's great. So did we have just one more, Mary Lou? Did you want to share? Do we want to wait, or do you want to use the
Well, I'm going
minute?
to be brief so I can, is there still a few minutes left?
There's a minute and 45 seconds. if you
Oh,
take
okay.
one.
I'll take a minute then.
Okay, take the minute.
I don't know, just to sum it up, really. I don't have that much to say about it, but I've just improved over the years when you first gave your scenario about when you first had fibro in the night sweats, and I was like, it was like me, you described me almost, but not everything. Yeah. But so anyway, I've improved, physically over the years, but where I'm going is I intend to pursue more avenues to make myself feel better, because I definitely don't feel good a lot of the times, so that's really sums it up for me. I really just intend on different things, to pursue more things. Like there's another doctor I heard about who's I'm not sure, he's an MD, but he practices, different things like acupuncture. He doesn't, but he has different avenues. And so I'm going to go see him in a couple months. And then I read magazine and in different articles. I